Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2022 BenchWire Awards. And today, we have a lot to talk about because we're going through all the awards that the NFL Honors would do, but BenchWire style. We have the Comeback Player of the Year, the Coach of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, MVP. Then we also have the 2022 BenchWire All-Pro Team. It's going to be a good one. Matthew, are you ready?
I'm ready. And they should also know that we're going to be giving an honorable mention for each award.
Yes, we are.
Except the BenchWire All-Pro Team.
Yes, there's no honorable mentions for all pros.
But for the awards, we're going to just give kind of a runner-up.
Yes. So, let's begin.
Who do you have?
For my Comeback Player of the Year, I have Mr. Saquon Barkley. And he had his best season yet of his career, and he eclipsed his rookie season with 1,300 yards, averaged around over 4 yards per carry, had double-digit touchdowns with 10 rushing, and he was a fantasy beast this year, and he carried the Giants to their first playoff berth since 2016. That's been 6 years since the Giants have not been in the playoffs. And now, for my honorable mention, it is the GOAT himself, Geno Smith, who has brought the Seattle Seahawks to the playoffs when everybody wrote him off. And that man, he played pretty well. 30 touchdowns, 11 picks, led him to a 9-8 record, and he had over 4,000 yards passing. And I think he did get in the Pro Bowl as well, right? Pretty sure he did. So he's a Pro Bowl quarterback, and everyone counted him out. And he performed this year. And he had a better year than Russell Wilson. So, I have him as my honorable mention. Now, Matthew, who do you have as your Comeback Player of the Year?
My Comeback Player of the Year is Christian McCaffrey. He was fantastic this year for the 49ers. He had 8 touchdowns, 1,100 yards rushing, and I believe receiving he had, close to 500. He also had 4 receiving touchdowns, so 12 touchdowns total. And the stats don't lie. When you look at the Niners offense since he arrived in San Francisco, it has been almost unstoppable.
Very dominant.
And he just fits their system so well that this was kind of no surprise. He's able to catch the ball, run the ball wherever you want it. So he is my Comeback Player of the Year. And my runner-up is your guy.
My guy.
Saquon Barkley. I was about to say Saquon Smith. Saquon Barkley.
Yes.
Like you said, most yards that he's had in his career in one season, obviously. And for the Giants, who just did not have any receivers this year, he was your offense for a good portion of the game. So you got to give him his flowers.
Yes.
And so that's going to lead us to our Defensive Player of the Year.
No?
Oh, sorry. Coach of the Year.
Coach of the Year. All right. So,
who's your Coach of the Year?
My selection for the Coach of the Year is no other than Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll has turned this Giants program around and led them to a 9-7-1 record. Everyone was counting the Giants out. They didn't think they would be in the playoffs, and now here we are. We're in the playoffs. Brian Daboll has changed the Giants' offense drastically. They had one of the worst red zone offenses in the league last year, and he changed that. Daniel Jones, he wasn't a franchise quarterback, but now we're talking like he's going to be a franchise quarterback because of Brian Daboll, offensive mastermind, and I'm really happy to have him as a coach, and I did not think we would make the playoffs this year. As a Giants fan, I did not think that would happen. And winning all these close games was another reason why he should win Coach of the Year. But my honorable mention for Coach of the Year is Kyle Shanahan. What Kyle Shanahan was able to do with Brock Purdy is one of the reasons why I'm giving him this honorable mention. Brock Purdy, 5-0 as a starter. And you got to give credit to Kyle Shanahan there. So that's why Kyle Shanahan is my honorable mention.
All right.
Now, who do you got for Coach of the Year?
I'm going to go a fun direction.
Okay.
I have Doug Peterson
Ooh.
of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That's very interesting.
And the reason being just the growth in one season. From starting off, obviously, didn't look the best, and then they were able to start competing and staying in some of these games, and they'd lose them. But it would be, like, so encouraging. It's like, well, next year, you guys might be able to win those games.
Mm-hmm.
But the end of the season, they won 5 in a row.
They did win 5 in a row.
And they were finally able to start winning some games. And I just think, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram all had career years.
They did.
And you got to give Doug Peterson credit. He was able to get Trevor Lawrence to finally break out. And when you look last year with Urban Meyer and then they had to fire him and all that, this team coming back to win the division is massive. And I think that Doug Peterson deserves the world for that.
Yes.
My runner-up is your guy, Brian Dable.
Brian Dable.
Reason being, the NFC East this year, our fourth-place team was 8-1. So this was a very competitive division. Every game was a dogfight. And, early in the season, you were able to beat some good teams. Some teams that maybe at the moment we would say they aren't really that good, but they didn't, they still believed that they were a good team at the time. So they were still giving it their all. They weren't, down on themselves. You got the Green Bay Packers who thought they were the team last year.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give Brian Dable credit. And then I've also said, Daniel Jones, his transformation, insane.
Career year.
And it's because of Dable. I feel like Daniel Jones finally found a coach that cared about his career. And you could see that from the first interception that Daniel Jones threw against the Titans. He threw it to, I believe it was Saquon out to the left. And it was just wasn't there. It got picked off, and Dable screamed at him.
Mm-hmm. That's a coach.
It's one of those things where, Daniel Jones, that's when he's screaming at you. He's not screaming at you because he hates you. He's screaming at you because he wants you to be better. Mm-hmm. He wants you to be the best version of yourself you could be. So you got to give him his credit.
All right. Next up, our offensive rookie of the year. My selection is Kenneth Walker III. This man carried the Seahawks to the playoffs along with Geno Smith. He had over 1,000 yards. Pull up his stats. I kind of forget how many touchdowns he had. But he helped me win my fantasy championship this year.
Against me.
Against Matthew. He had 9 touchdowns, averaged 4.6 yards per carry. He didn't play in all the games. He did get banged up, but Kenneth Walker was pretty good this year, and he didn't know if he was going to start because of Rashad Penny, but then Rashad Penny got hurt, and then enter Kenneth Walker, and now he's a beast, and he'll be their running back for years to come.
It needs to be talked about that he didn't start all of the games.
Yeah, so... And then we also have an honorable mention. Now, people are going to crap on me for this honorable mention, but I think he deserves it. Brock Purdy as my honorable mention. I know he didn't play all year, yada, 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 but he had amazing stats, all right? He had a 67.1 completion percentage. 1,300 yards in 5 games is pretty good. 8.1 yards per attempt. 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And what was his QBR? I know it was pretty high. We're looking here. His QBR was insane. Quarterback rating, I meant. 107.3. That is a very good number for a guy that was drafted as Mr. Irrelevant. 7th round pick. No one believed in him. Niners gave him a shot. Enter him in the lineup. Didn't lose a game. So, that's why I have him as my honorable mention.
That's fair. I personally won't put him in there because he did not play enough games. And I feel like that's unfair to some other players.
That's why it's my honorable mention.
My rookie of the year is Garrett Wilson.
Okay.
Over 1,100 yards. He had 4 touchdowns, 83 receptions, and the reason that he gets this award is because of what he had to deal with in New York. He had to play with Joe Flacco,
Goat,
Zach Wilson, Mike White, and some other guy that looked like a caveman.
Chris Streveler.
Yeah. And to play with those quarterbacks and still put up 1,100 yards, that's pretty impressive in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So once they get a capable quarterback, or Zach Wilson decides that he wants to start playing like a franchise quarterback, Garrett Wilson could probably enter that top 10 receiver conversation. And my honorable mention is the same guy you had, but except he is your offensive.
So all your honorable mentions are my guys that I'm selecting so far.
Might be. It's because I disagree that they should be the ones that win it.
No, I think they should be the ones.
They deserve the credit. But yeah, Kenneth Walker, big difference maker. Everyone knew out of Michigan State he was going to be really good. I was surprised that he didn't start the season as running back 1, but he was eventually able to earn it. Unfortunately, due to injuries, but once he got that role, he didn't turn it back. So.
Yep.
Got to give credit to him. So that means that we're on to Defensive Rookie of the Year. Who you got?
My selection for Defensive Rookie of the Year is Aiden Hutchinson. He's a beast, 2nd overall pick from Michigan. He had 9.5 sacks in 17 games. I know it's not double-digit sacks, but he also had 3 interceptions. As a rookie DN, that is insane. I don't think that's ever been done before in NFL history. Did he score a touchdown on those? I don't think he did. He has 9 tackles for loss, though, with 15 quarterback hits. That's an impressive stat for a rookie. And the Lions have one of their best seasons in the past few years because of this guy's presence on the field. And he also had 3 passes defended.
Which is pretty good for a defensive lineman.
Yeah, for a defensive end, that's insane. So... That's insane.
Maybe not insane.
As a rookie defensive end.
Sure, yeah.
I would say
to be able to
insane.
anticipate where the quarterback's going to throw, that's impressive.
Yes. And he's only 22 years old. So, he's going to be a guy that is going to be insane for the next few years. But my honorable mention is Sauce Gardner, New York Jets corner. Was he the 3rd overall pick? Was he the 3rd overall pick?
4th.
4th overall pick. I don't remember who the 3rd was. Kind of forget right now. But he played in all 17 games. He was locking up every receiver that he was playing against. And the Jets had one of their best seasons because of him and some other players they drafted. And I think he will be probably a top 3 corner for the next 10 years. I think he has that type of ability. And he's a very special talent, and that's why he's my honorable mention.
All right. Well, my Defensive Rookie of the Year is Sauce Gardner. Again, I disagree with you. And your pick will be my honorable mention.
Yeah, see?
So
what the heck, man?
So the reason I have Sauce is because Aiden Hutchinson had a good year. And the one thing that you want from your D-line is to take some pressure off of your corners by, getting pressure, right? And the Lions defense had a really bad year. And I'm not blaming that on Hutchinson. But I think that with, a cornerback, first and foremost, it usually takes 2 years for them to fully develop, get a rhythm. So for Sauce to come in and be locked down, like as soon as he started playing, is impressive. And I just think that cornerback is just kind of an easier position to get your flowers for when you have a really good season as a rookie, because it's not something that you see a lot of. So that's why I want to give it to Sauce.
All right.
But yeah, Aiden Hutchinson, like you said, he's going to be top 10 defensive end for the next decade for Detroit. And he's just a playmaker. You could just tell he's going to be a pain for all of those teams in the NFC North for, like I said, the next decade. So that means that we are finally getting to the big awards.
Yes.
The really big ones. Let's start with Offensive Player of the Year.
Offensive Player of the Year. My selection is no other than Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson.
And let's just combine on this one because I have him too.
We finally agreed on one. Thank you.
We both have Jefferson.
So Jefferson, he had maybe 1,800 yards receiving. That's pretty good. 8 touchdowns. That's pretty good. 128 catches. That's pretty good. And he played in all the games.
Say, the biggest thing is 128 catches.
He played in all the games.
Insane. And if he didn't get locked up by Darius Slay and Jair Alexander, and I think it was like one more guy,
He would have broke.
He probably would have
Calvin's
broken
record.
2,000 yards.
But
so
he would have had 17 games to do
he
it.
would have.
in.
He
So
would have.
There
He
is
would've.
that. People are gonna say that, but
But he didn't.
he was insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, career year for Justin Jefferson. He is. I would say he's the best receiver in football right now after what I've seen.
I disagree, but we'll get to that.
Okay. Why? Because he gets locked up some games.
Yeah.
Okay. I still
We'll
think.
get to that. We'll get to that. Don't worry.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
But my honorable mention for Offensive Player of the Year is the guy you had for Comeback Player of the Year, Christian McCaffrey. You insert him in the Niners lineup. He has been insane. Made him a Super Bowl contender. They're the number 2 seed. Because of him, he can run the ball. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's going to be probably a top 3 running back now in that Shanahan offense. And I think they're going to be contending for a Super Bowl for the next few years because of him. So I got McCaffrey as my honorable mention.
All right. Well, my honorable mention is Josh Jacobs.
Okay.
1,600 rushing yards. Receiving wise, 400 yards. So 2,000 yards total. 12 touchdowns on the ground. And then I believe receiving, he did have, let's see, receiving. He had none. Well, anyways, yeah. I just think having a season like that, I mean,
Yep.
for the Raiders, who just were not good this year.
It was really good.
I mean, he put himself in a position to get paid.
Yeah.
And he's going to get paid.
You think the Raiders pay him?
They should. They'd be very stupid not to.
He's
only
have the
24.
Money. They do have the money.
They do have the money.
But that's a podcast topic.
That's his podcast.
Back to the awards. My Defensive Player of the Year is Nick Bosa. He has been a...
Whoa.
What?
We both have him, so let's both talk about this.
Okay. Well, he has 18.5 sacks. He didn't play in all the games, but he had 18.5 sacks.
Yeah.
2 forced fumbles. 41 solo tackles. I'm pretty sure this was a career year for him.
Sack-wise, yes.
Yes, it was.
He also had 19 tackles for a loss.
Yeah.
He hit the quarterback 48 times, which
That's
is
very impressive.
Yeah, it's insane. He also, I think he's been the victim of a few roughing the passer calls that maybe shouldn't have been.
Yeah, I hate the NFL officiating, but yeah, that is true.
My biggest thing is, though, when you watch, he comes up in the big moments. He finds a way to make it work. And it's one of those things where, in those big moments, the opposing team circles you, right? They're like, okay, we need to get this first down. Don't let him pressure. Double team him, triple team him. Do anything you can to get him out of a rhythm. And he still shows up. And that shows how good he is. Because no matter what you throw at Nick Bosa, he's going to get through. And it's really, if there's one player that I think makes the 49ers one of the most dangerous teams, it's him. If you take him away, they're still a good team, but I don't think they're the same team that they are.
They're not a great team.
Without Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
I mean, you need an edge rusher in this league.
That's why he was
to find
drafted number
success.
2.
It is. He should have gone number 1.
He should have. Who was number 1 in that draft? Who?
No, I want to say was it Kyler?
I think it was Kyler.
What was this? 2019? That's Kyler.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, taking Kyler made a lot of sense for Arizona, but Nick Bosa, realistically, when we do a whole redraft, he's probably number 1.
Yeah, you got to draft him. Now, my honorable mention is Cleveland Browns defensive end Myles Garrett. Now, he had a great season, even though the Browns had a bad season. He had 16 sacks. Didn't play in all the games because he did get in that car crash accident. 37 solo tackles, 2 forced fumbles, and I don't think it was a career year for him, but it was a very impressive year for him. He actually tied it. He tied his career sack total, not career, in a season. Sack total was 16. He had 16 last year, 16 this year.
Let's just put into perspective that he had 26 quarterback hits. Nick Bosa had 48.
Yeah, that's why he's my honorable mention.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's getting double teamed every play, and I think he is one of the best defensive ends in the league, and he shows it every year. So
right.
that's why he's my
let me go in a different direction.
honorable mention.
Let me go in a different direction.
Okay.
Hassan Reddick.
Okay.
of the Eagles.
Explain, enlighten me.
Had the same amount of sacks, more fumbles. I believe he also had the same amount of tackles for a loss, I want to say. There was some stat in there that they had tied other than sacks. I remember that. But he had 26 quarterback hits. Oh, that's what Myles Garrett and him had in both, or
Tied.
had tied, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he's just been a beast for us, and he played linebacker. I mean, he's an outside linebacker, so you can say that in some schemes he's just going to fill in for the defensive end. But I just think that Hassan Reddick deserves his flowers, and I'm going to give it to him. If there was no Nick Bosa, it probably would be Hassan Reddick's year for Defensive Player of the Year with how good he's been.
Okay.
So, and he's gotten double teamed as well. But he still found a way to get through. So,
Next
Mr.
up,
Hassan Reddick,
our MVP, the most
also known as MV Pat for both of us.
most valuable player is Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, now he played the whole season, so that's why he gets the award.
Yeah, let's be honest here. If Hurts played, they probably would have given it to him because of the record, and then the stats would have been probably similar.
Yes, he did have 41 passing touchdowns, 12
He had
interceptions.
4 rushing, so it's 45 touchdowns.
So he had 45 total touchdowns on the season. He did have 5,250 passing yards. That's impressive.
I have to include the rushing because if you want to do that with Hurts, you got to do it for others.
Yes.
Like Brock Purdy, I think he had 13-4, but he had a rushing, so it's 14-4.
Oh, don't forget that. He had a 67.1 completion percentage, which is really good, and he also led his team to 14-3 record. So, I would say Patrick Mahomes, he's gonna be their quarterback for what they signed him to a 10-year contract, so he's making I think $450 million total contract.
He'll be good.
Yeah, he's set for life. But yeah, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and he's gonna win an MVP.
Yeah, and like I said, I agree wholeheartedly. He's the MVP. He has proved it all year. You can't argue the fact that other quarterbacks had better weapons. I mean, I know obviously having the best tight end of all time, by when it's all said and done, is massive. Having one of the best O-lines, massive. But I know the receiving core. You can argue it's just not anything too crazy.
Yeah, it's not right
although
now.
I would like to kind of disagree and say that they have a lot of guys who step up in big moments. I've seen Sky Moore have a bunch of great catches. Justin Watson, Juju's obviously very reliable. MVS, he'll have a few games where he just becomes a game wrecker, and who knows what Kadarius Toney could end up being if he wants to stay on the field. That's kind of his decision. I don't really think he's actually injured half the time, but yeah, you got to give it a pat, especially 5,200 passing yards.
Yeah,
I mean that's insane.
That's crazy.
It's every game you're averaging something along the lines of what? Let's do the math real quick. 300. It's like over 300 a game.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot of yards passing.
I think Daniel Jones only had like one game over 300 yards, so that's crazy.
Yeah, and yeah, you just got to give it to Patrick Mahomes. Honorable mentions though. I know that you have a guy.
I have 2 honorable mentions. I was giving it to Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow.
I know that you like Joe, so I'll let you. You can describe Joe. I'll describe my guy.
Well, Joe's a pretty good guy, leading the Bengals, a team that hasn't been great the past when he hasn't been on the team. He led them to a Super Bowl last year. No one thought they'd go to Super Bowl. And then he led them to a division title this year, finished 12-4 on the season. He had 68.3 completion percentage, 4,400 yards passing, 35 touchdowns, 12 picks. Did he have any rushing? I'm pretty sure he did.
He might have had one.
Where's it at? He had 5 rushing. So, Joseph Burrow.
That's 40 touchdowns.
Yes, Joe Shiesty.
Joe Shiesty.
Well, I was reading up there. They got nicknames for these guys. They got Joe Burr, Joe Shiesty, or Joey Franchise.
I agree, though. Joseph Lee Burrow has had a great year.
He has had a great year, and he hasn't had Jamar Chase all year. He hasn't had Joe Mixon all year. He had to carry the team through some ups and downs. They started out 0-2, and he still finished the season 12-4. So you got to give credit to Joe Burrow, and they're trying to push for another Super Bowl. I think there's a very good chance they could be in that Super Bowl. We don't know yet, but credit to Joe Burrow, and that's why he's my honorable mention.
My honorable mention is Jalen Hurts. Like I said, if he stayed healthy, I think it's his award. He, in games he's played, he had a record of 14-1. So those 2 losses were Gardner Minshew. Remember that. Don't try to put that on Hurts. And Minshew had the same weapons as Hurts. Mm-hmm. So when people said that Hurts was a system quarterback, he is the system. Okay. The system is built around Jalen Hurts. That's why we are 14-1 with him. He had 22 passing. I believe it was 13 rushing. Only 6 interceptions, so he does not turn the ball over like that. He probably would have had 4,000 passing yards. Rushing wise, I believe he would have had I want to say around maybe 900. It just would have been an all-time insane season from a quarterback, in terms of rushing and passing. So, there's not much else has to be said. I know Joe Burrow had a great year. I'll give him his credit as well, but especially, I know, let's say 13-1, because this past game with the Giants didn't really count for Hurts. He didn't really get to do anything. They kind of just had him there in case we needed. Just the threat of him being on the field changes it, right? But, So I'm going to say he kind of missed 3 games, but it is what it is.
It is
and
what it is.
And that means that we are on our BenchWire All-Pro team.
BenchWire All-Pro team selections.
I'll go first for these.
All right. We're going to start out with the offense. Quarterback.
Offense.
Who you got?
The best quarterback this year, Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
Just like we said, MVP.
MVP.
Do you agree?
Oh, I thought you were saying all yours and then all mine.
No, we'll agree. We'll go back and forth.
All right, and then my 2022 BenchWire All-Pro quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. MVP. First seed in the AFC. Can't stress it anymore. I think he was the best quarterback this year.
All right. Best running back this year, I put Josh Jacobs. Again, 2,000 total yards, ton of touchdowns. He was the Raiders' offense this year, especially that one game against the Seahawks. 300 total yards. Mm-hmm. That was more than a few teams that week.
Yeah. Mine is also Josh Jacobs at running back. Yeah, he was the rushing leader. He was insane. He had that 300-yard game. Forget who it was against. But, yeah, Josh Jacobs, he's earning that second contract with this type of season. Hopefully he can sustain that success. But who knows? But he had a really great year, and he is my all-pro running back this year.
All right. My wide receiver is Devontae Adams. 1,500 catching yards, 1,500 receiving yards, 14 touchdowns, and that was with a Derek Carr who did not play good this season, and then obviously he had Jared Stidham for the last 2 games.
Really?
And he also he just didn't get clamped this year.
Okay.
He told Patrick Surtain, you're just not him right now. And, Justin Jefferson, like I said, he got locked up a few games. He's showing that he's still human. Devontae, I don't know if he's human. I don't think he is.
Okay.
With some of the catches he has and how dominant he is every game. So
there's some games he had some duds, though.
I don't really think that was his fault, but okay.
Well, how do you say it's Justin Jefferson's fault?
Because he genuinely got locked up.
Okay. My receiver, Justin Jefferson, offensive player of the year, in my opinion. He had 1,800 yards receiving, and he was literally the best receiver in football this year. And I know he did get locked up some games, but the games where he didn't get locked up, he popped off. He would have over, I don't know how many 100-yard games he had, but he had a lot. So that's why he's my receiver on my all-pro team.
All right. Tight end. We could both agree on this. Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce is my tight end, yes.
Yeah, he is, like we said earlier, he's going to end up being the best tight end of all time. You could just see it. He's dominant every week. He does have a few mistakes. I know he does make them. He's pretty prone to doing that, but even with those mistakes, he finds a way to make up for it. So.
Yup. Now, left tackle.
I got this. Ready?
You got this?
Jordan Mailata. No. Trent Williams. I'm going to say Trent Williams.
Trent Williams. That's not funny.
put Trent Williams because I feel like
How many sacks did he allow? Just want to know.
I don't know if he even allowed one.
He definitely did.
We have an Andrew Thomas lover over here, so
I saw him get beat.
He'll get to it, but Trent Williams, he is just the bodyguard. He just like Jason Peters, the bodyguard.
Jason Peters for the Cowboys or Jason Peters for the
ours.
Okay.
I was saying he is the bodyguard. He is the guy. He just protects your quarterback. And in terms of the run game, I don't know if there is any other person like. If I had to avoid one person in the run game, it would probably be him. Because he just pancakes everybody. So, I'm going to put Trent Williams there.
Well,
for my left tackle.
My left tackle is Pro Bowl snub himself, Andrew Thomas. I think Andrew Thomas had a career year. I believe he allowed 3 sacks. 2 to Micah Parsons, 1 to Josh Sweat. And he was Daniel Jones' bodyguard, and there's a reason why Daniel Jones is really good this year. It's because he had time in the pocket. When you have time in the pocket, your quarterback does some great things. And the reason why he had a career year, Daniel Jones, because Andrew Thomas had a career year. He played multiple all-pro DNs, linebackers that pass rush this whole year, and Andrew Thomas has been one of the best in the league. I know he did allow 2 sacks to Micah in one game. But other than that,
I want to quickly just add and give credit to him for this, right?
Okay.
2 from Micah, 1 from Josh Sweat.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that says something is because these are the guys that go against him every year. So they have a lot of games to learn him.
Yeah.
It says something when you go against other defensive ends who aren't in your division and you can stop them. Because that means that they have no answer for you. Yes. They can't get past you. So I think that's why you have to give him his flowers.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had to do another left tackle, it would have been him.
Yeah.
He's definitely been a game wrecker for the Giants.
He's been very dominant, and he pancaked a lot of people this year.
He has.
Especially on that last game that Daniel Jones played, DeForest Buckner pancaked him. Daniel Jones ran in the end zone, and that was his last touchdown. Clinched the playoffs. Beautiful way to end the season. So that's my left tackle.
And you know what? You love to see the comeback, too.
Yeah.
It was him. And then who was the Alabama one that went? Jedrick Wills. And then Tristan Wirfs.
Yeah. They were saying
and although I still think that Tristan Wirfs could probably end up being the best tackle from that class, I think that right now it's Andrew Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously it's just a good story because Andrew Thomas at one point was a bust.
Yeah. They were all
did not work out.
calling him a bust. It was his
but
first
the Giants,
year.
they said, hold on.
Yeah.
He still got it.
Give him a good coach, Brian Dable, and all worked out.
All right, let's get a right tackle because I think we both have the same guy.
Okay.
Lane Johnson.
I mean, didn't allow a sack.
Yeah,
for how many years now?
The Eagles, huh?
How many years? It's been 2 years since he allowed a sack. That's pretty good.
He just, I don't know how he does it. It's like every single time he'll like get beat, but like his ability to recover and not allow pressure from it is insane.
Mm-hmm.
When you watch the Eagles, you can't help but to not just look at that bottom corner of your screen where it's just Lane Johnson just standing there
bullying people,
and yeah, he's also a pretty good run blocker. Pretty underrated in that category.
Yep.
But, yeah, so we both had him. Center. Very upset with Steven's decision tonight to not go with Jason Kelce.
You can't have the same player every selection.
I'm going to say Jason Kelce. Jason Kelce is 35 years old. Probably going to retire after the season. In that case, Beef Jerky will have to take over. But
Beef Jerky.
They might be one of the best nicknames, dude.
That's a good nickname.
But, yeah, I mean, just what he's done this year, it's been amazing. Listen, everybody knows that he makes mistakes. It happens. But the fact is, he doesn't allow sacks. And in the run game, I don't think that there's a better center in the run game than him. He's able to create every lane possible. You can watch the replays. He's able to just get past some of these defensive linemen and get in front and get the linebackers. I mean, he is the reason that our run game is so good. So it's Jason Kelce. And I honestly am going to cover my ears while you say this because I feel it's disrespectful.
And my BenchWire All-Pro selection for center is Creed Humphrey, Kansas City Chiefs center. He has been very, very good for the past, how many years? He's been in the league 3 years now, I'm pretty sure. He's a young and upcoming center. I believe he's only allowed 3 pressures all year, which is insane for a guy that's like 23 years old. I think Creed Humphrey, he did make the Pro Bowl, and the reason why Patrick Mahomes is so good is because you got a guy like Creed Humphrey calling out blitzes and stuff on the offensive line, picking up blitzes, and because of him, the Chiefs are so good. And I'm pretty sure he was a 3rd-round pick, and to be that good as a 3rd-round pick was a steal for the Chiefs, and that's why he's my All-Pro selection for center this year. Now,
I'm back.
He's back.
He had to
cover his ears.
Cover my ears. I can't listen to that disrespect.
Now, left guard.
Left guard.
Who do you got?
Do we both have the same guy?
I don't know who you have.
Is it an Eagles player?
It's not an Eagles player.
Who?
I have Joel Bitonio.
Huh. I have Landon Dickerson.
Landon Dickerson was my upcoming guy.
Yeah.
He was
Landon Dickerson this year has been amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't expect him to be able to become the best left guard in the NFL or top 3. He was a center.
He's a Bama boy.
He was a center.
Doesn't matter. He's Bama boy.
And, like, just the transition. I know it's obviously not as hard as going to, like, a tackle position, but, like, to just kind of be like, okay, well, I don't get to touch the ball anymore. I'm just kind of going to protect. I mean...
Well, I played center, and I went to guard. It's not that hard. You don't have to snap the ball now. You just block. Easy transition. I've done it. He could do it.
We got the Warriors' finest here.
Yep.
I'm not going to name the school, but Warriors' finest.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. High school.
But yeah, Landon Dickerson's a good one. But I have Joel Bitonio.
That's fine.
He's been one of the best in the league for a long time, and he's still one of the best in the league. And being able to do that as a left guard for, I think, 10-plus years now is insane.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he got another Pro Bowl selection out of it as well. And the Cleveland Browns, they don't have many great players right now, but he's one of them. Yeah. So that's why he's my left guard.
All right. Right guard. Do we have the same one? Who do you got?
I got the Falcons, Chris Lindstrom.
That's a good shout. I'm probably going to agree with that.
Falcons need some love on this podcast.
Yeah, we'll give them some love. Chris Lindstrom has been a game changer for the Falcons this year. He's one of the few guys that it just seems like every year he's getting better. And he's the reason that a guy like Tyler Algier was able to come in his rookie season and get over 1,000 rushing yards.
Yep.
Falcons' offensive line has been pretty good this year. They weren't one of the bad units. They were the ones that kind of kept it together, and he had a major reason as to why they were able to do that. So, yeah. Defensive line, though.
Defensive line. So we're starting out with D-tackle?
D-tackle.
D-tackle. I have the game wrecker himself, Dexter Lawrence.
All right, closing my ears.
Why are you closing your ears?
Because he's just not the best D-tackle.
It was a career year for him. He had, I don't know how many sacks. You can look it up for me.
We already looked it up.
I've seen him bully
seven and a half.
He's not a guy that gets sacks.
He's 6.5. Because Fletch had 6.
Okay. He's not a guy that gets sacks, though. Don't look at sacks as a stat for him. He is a run stuffer, and he has been wrecking every offensive lineman he's been playing all year. If you want to watch the Colts game, watch him demolish Quentin Nelson. That was a great clip. And I think Dexter Lawrence, with a career year, and the reason why the Giants' defense has been so good this year is the reason why he is my defensive tackle for my All-Pro team.
My defensive tackle is the one that had 15.5 sacks on the year, Chris Jones.
Well, he's more of a pass rusher. He's not a nose tackle.
He is a defensive tackle.
They play a 4-3, though. They don't play a 3-4.
He had 15.5 sacks.
Yeah, but he's more of a
And
pass
he has a
rusher.
big boy. He is 300 pounds. And he is my defensive tackle of the year.
Well, yeah. I'm giving it to someone new.
Game record.
I'm giving it to someone.
Game record. Better than Dexter Lawrence will ever be.
The Chiefs play a 4-3, and the Giants play a 3-4.
We are not starting to bring up formations right now, dude.
Well, I'm just saying, he's got a guy on him at all time. He plays a gap in the 4-3.
Okay.
So, that's why I'm saying Dexter Lawrence. But Chris Jones was my runner-up.
I feel like even if you were to put Chris Jones in any other formation or whenever like you said, if he had a guy manned up on him, he'd still probably be able to overpower him. No,
We don't know.
no.
Spags
You
don't play that
think
defense. Spags don't play that defense.
There's some good linebackers in Kansas City. Just want to say that. Nick Bolton, shout out.
Shout out. Now we have our edge rusher. I have Nick Bosa, the defensive player of the year.
We're gonna shake on that.
Yes, we can. Nick Bosa, game wrecker. Insane. I think he had 18.5 sacks.
18.5 sacks, and you could tell he's gonna be a Hall of Famer.
He's going to be a Hall
If
of
he can stay
Famer.
healthy, that's a big thing.
Yes, he has been healthy since that ACL injury.
Yep.
And I think he takes care of his body now. Been reading up on what he does, and because of that, that's why he's so good.
No offense, but he saw his brother. He said, "I ain't going down that route."
Oh, yeah, he's way better than his brother already. His brother's always hurt.
Well, let's not disrespect his brother.
Always
His brother
hurt.
was amazing.
Was.
He is amazing.
Was.
He's going to be amazing.
Yeah, he's going to lose to the
Watch
Jags
him in
this
the playoffs.
week.
Watch him in the
He's going
playoffs.
to lose to the Jags this week. But Nick Bosa is my edge rusher, and you got him as well. You also have this guy as well, outside linebacker. Around that,
Oh, yeah, let's go outside linebacker. I have Hassan Reddick.
I have Hassan Reddick.
Yeah, I mean,
Insane stats from him.
yeah, 16.5 sacks, obviously career high. 5 forced fumbles, which is the most turnovers from a single defender in the NFL this year. Yeah, I mean, it seems like whenever we needed a big stop, he's there for us, and can't thank him enough for that. So, yeah. Interior linebacker.
I have Fred Warner
You
from
have Fred Warner.
the 49ers. Who do you have?
I have Roquan Smith.
Roquan Smith?
Yeah.
I haven't heard much of him this year.
I think it's because he was on the Ravens defense now, and the Ravens defense is so stacked that it's hard to get your flowers. But, yeah, Roquan, he's been everywhere this year. Now that I think about it, I actually don't think he's an interior linebacker. Do you know if he...
I'm pretty sure he's middle linebacker. He's middle linebacker. Yeah.
Just in case, let's say he isn't.
Okay. This is a temporary one.
Yeah, that's a temporary one. I'm going to say...
I have Fred Warner, though.
I think I'm going to go Jordan Brooks. Seattle.
He just
Filling
got hurt.
in some big shoes.
Didn't he just get hurt?
He did. I still had a great season.
He got hurt, though.
But yeah, great season. Had to fill in the shoes of Bobby Wagner, which is insane. And he did a fantastic job. So, shout out Jordan Brooks. But yeah, now I'm thinking about it, I'm pretty sure Roquan might be an outside linebacker.
I don't think he is. I think he's a middle linebacker.
Because I believe I saw when he got paid today, which will be on our next podcast, I believe it said it's the highest amount for any not or off-ball linebacker.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah.
But I got Fred Warner, leader of the Niners defense, captain.
All right, cornerback.
I can't even talk about Fred Warner. They're the number one defense in the league. He's one of the best linebackers in the league. He's my inside linebacker.
All right, cornerback.
Cornerback.
I'm going to shock the world.
Oh, yeah?
Marlon Humphrey.
Wow.
He has been
shocked me right there.
absolutely fantastic this year. You saw that when he went off the field, the Dolphins came back and beat the Ravens. And obviously he was off the field because he got hurt. Marlon Humphrey has been locked down this season. I feel like every game, whenever the other team needs a touchdown, they somehow they think it's a good idea to target him in the red zone, and it just never works out. It's always a pass breakup.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, shout out Marlon Humphrey. I think he's been the best corner this year. And for a guy who had kind of a rough year last year, that's a bounce back if I've ever seen one.
Yes. I have the defensive player or rookie of the year runner-up for me, Sauce Gardner. He's been very, very good in his rookie season and takes a lot of time to develop as a rookie cornerback, and I think he's one of the best in the league already, and that's why he's my cornerback for the All-Pro team.
Can I ask you?
Uh-huh.
If he's the cornerback for your All-Pro team and Aiden Hutchinson isn't your edge, why wasn't it Sauce for your damn rookie of the year?
Because
that's like somebody getting an All-Pro over the other guy.
I had to change it up.
Be honest, did you just not you didn't know any corner?
I just know
admit it.
I just know he had a really good season. And Sauce Gardner is saucy, and I like Sauce Gardner as my cornerback. Aiden Hutchinson will be on this All-Pro team next year. How about that?
All right. Strong safety. We both have the same guy, C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
He's pretty good.
He is pretty good.
He just got to stay healthy.
I don't think it's his fault that his kidney got lacerated, but
he has a reason to do it.
But you know what? If he played all season, would have been the interception leader. He was, like I said, if you had to rank the players on our defense, obviously, or throughout this whole entire year, I think you would put Son Reddick number 1, CJ number 2. I know Slay and Bradbury have been great, but
it kind of fell off a little bit as the season
went. They both did, a little bit. Maybe not so much Bradbury. He's still been really good. Slay, on the other hand, he's
after what I just saw with Galladay, he fell off a little bit.
That was a great catch by Galladay. I don't think that there's much Slay could have done there, but
and his only touchdown as a Giant.
Yeah, but what was I saying?
You were talking about CJ.
Oh yeah. He's been great this year. Big playmaker. And one of the reasons that our defense was obviously really good when he played.
All right. I agree with you. I think C.J. Gardner-Johnson is the strong safety for my All-Pro team, and you pretty much said every reason why. Free safety, I have Minkah Fitzpatrick. He has been really good for the Steelers defense that almost made the playoffs, but they didn't. But Mike Tomlin led them to another over 500 record yet again, and players like Minkah Fitzpatrick make Mike Tomlin really good, and I think Minkah Fitzpatrick is my free safety.
My free safety of the year.
Okay.
I'm going to give some credit to a fan base that has been really let down this year.
Okay.
Broncos country.
Let's ride.
Justin Simmons had a better year than Minkah. The stats prove it. I was thinking Minkah. I originally wrote Minkah, but then I was like, wait a minute. Pretty sure Justin Simmons was better. Justin Simmons, he has 6 interceptions, which obviously tied Minkah and CJ and Tariq Woolen for the league lead. But one thing that he also had was 3 forced fumbles as a safety. Getting the fumbles in the backfield, very difficult.
Very difficult.
Very difficult. 2 tackles for a loss. Total tackles, 69. Nice.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. So, 7 passes defended. Just had a great year. And I feel like the Broncos needed a representative because their defense deserved it this year.
Yep.
Russell Wilson, you let the team down.
No, Nathaniel Hackett did. That's why they got rid
He
of him.
did, but Russell Wilson in the beginning of he turned it around at the end. But,
it's because Hackett wasn't there.
But you know what? I'm going to give it to Justin Simmons.
Okay.
Kickers.
Special teams now. We have kicker. I have Justin Tucker.
Can't go wrong with him.
You can't go wrong with him. He didn't have
like Justin Tucker
a career year, Justin Tucker, but it's still a great year where he's still the best kicker in the league. So, with that being said, Justin Tucker is my kicker of the year.
I have the Raiders, Daniel Carlson, because it just seems as if every single time that they needed a big kick, he always delivered. When you could feel the pressure through the TV, he delivered. I feel like guys like Tucker, guys like Harrison Butker, all of them, they have had some moments this year where they needed to make the kick and they didn't.
All right, well, Justin Tucker had to make an NFL history type kick.
I'm not talking about that one.
Okay.
And I also just wanted to give a shout out to Dicker the kicker because he had a great year.
Yeah.
Great year for the Chargers. Yeah.
He's my rookie kicker of the year.
I'm pretty sure he's a rookie.
If they did that award, he would get it.
All right, and then punter,
we both got Tommy Townsend
of the Chiefs.
They
don't punt much, but when they
do, he's insane. The way that ball spirals, woo!
Spirals?
No, yeah, it spirals. Like when it goes down, it spirals.
I like the spin.
The spiral, the spin.
The rotation.
The rotation of the ball is just immaculate, and he just pins it at the 1 yard line. Best punter in the league.
What do you think the RPM is? Rotations per minute.
Rotations per minute? I would say 50.
SPS. Spirals per second.
Well, that's a hard one, because I need, a machine to, track that stuff.
I said myself.
But I think that concludes our 2022 BenchWire Awards. If you guys want to see more content on the channel, drop a like on this video. Subscribe to Channel New. We would really appreciate it. We also have a link tree with all our social medias in the description box below. Go check it out. And I believe this is on Spotify.
It should be.
It should be. So if you're listening to this on Spotify, welcome to BenchWire. We're going to have lots of great content coming your guys' way. And that's all we have for you guys today. BenchWire.
Allow me to do the honors.
BenchWire.
Out.
Out. There we go. There we go.
Just end it.
Bye-bye.